Dr. Jones says that red meat can cause heart disease. Piers hears the jury is out. Denial much? Former Baywatch star and animal rights advocate Pamela Anderson was recently featured on Good Morning Britain. She had tweeted the fact that vegans make better lovers, and as you can imagine, Piers Morgan was none too pleased.
Pamela joins us now live from Vancouver. First of all, how are you, Pamela?
I'm very good. Good morning.
It's lovely to see you. You're looking as radiant as always.
You old smoothie, Piers. Wait a minute, though. I thought you couldn't stand vegans.
I was struck by a tweet you did, or a Twitter thread, actually, over the weekend, in which you were making this very bold assertion that vegans are better lovers.
Well, duh. The penile arteries are half the size of the coronary arteries, so which do you think are going to get blocked first? Considering that coronary heart disease kills 1 in 3 people, there's a lot of guys who, by middle age, are not performing quite as they'd like. You may have heard of the 40 over 40 rule. 40% of men by age 40 are suffering with erectile dysfunction. We used to think that it was psychosomatic. We now know it's because they eat the murder victims that they affectionately refer to as humanely slaughtered farm animals.
Cholesterol hardens your arteries, but not much else.
Can I ask what you base your claims on, though?
Undeniable scientific fact and personal experience, I shouldn't wonder. Whilst you base your claims on nonsense editorials that confirm your bias.
There's a lot of research that went into this. I produced the film called Game Changers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, we covered it on the programme.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
So,
and there's a very memorable description of what happens overnight for vegans.
She's referring to a study of athletes fitted with a device known as a rigiscope to their penises overnight. They recorded around 13 to 15% firmer nocturnal erections and between about 3 and 500% longer duration of them when eating a bean burrito versus a beef burrito for dinner.
Yeah, more fun things happen even when you're sleeping.
Hang on,
I think you're on the verge of veganism. I think you're
I'm a meat eater.
Candidate.
I'm a meat eater, and I can assure you, fun things happen to us too.
Just with less and less regularity and shorter durations over time as your arteries reliably clog up.
Do we? I can't believe we're divulging all this information.
I think it's a very important debate.
It's not much of a debate, Piers. For one thing, there's no science on your side. Certainly you haven't provided any. You'll have to pull out a red herring next or go straight to the old character assassination, like you always do when confronted with the truth.
But my question is your assertion that vegans genuinely have better sex lives than meat eaters?
Yes. Are you stupid as well as being into animal abuse? In Piers' defence, the two do often go hand in hand, to be fair.
That's what I hear. I mean, I'm vegan. I'm fairly confident in that statement.
How long have you been a vegan?
Gosh, I guess a long time, 30 years.
Wow.
30 years since I came to
California. And
California.
your sex life has been better since you renounced meat?
Yes, absolutely, I think. But I think I've always had a lot of fun in that department. But I like...
Nice put on laugh, Piers. He's like a kiddie school kid, isn't he? Bloody hell, Piers, rein it in. You're trying too hard.
It's a romantic way of eating. It's like, being engaged in the world and caring about life and the environment even is a vegan lifestyle. So this is kind of like another little perk.
Okay, but
is it persuading you to join up to January?
My problem with it.
Your problem with it, Piers, is the fact that vegans like Pam are absolutely thriving, meaning that you are demanding unnecessary executions with your selfish choices.
I read a lot of medical experts. We'll bring in Hillary in a moment, but...
A mere GP like Hillary Jones is no expert, Piers. Are you not aware of how little nutrition training they get? But hey, he very likely shares your bias too, so get him on, right?
A lot of medical experts say that actually...
Did you know about this?
Actually, a vegan diet is not that great for you.
If they're saying a vegan diet, they're not very expert, are they? Veganism speaks to an ethical belief with no hint of what a person may actually be ingesting. It's demonstratively proven that a whole foods, plant-based diet is the most disease protective. Every credible nutrition authority says eat more fruits and vegetables, eat less saturated fat and cholesterol. What's the ultimate expression of that? Whole foods, plant-based diet.
There's the hypocrisy about vegans, and it's this. Vegans love things like almond milk and almonds and avocado.
You love your blanket statements, don't you, Piers? You just described two whole foods. In my experience as a nutritionist, most vegans, the same as most carnists, don't love whole foods. They love junk food.
And yet we all know that they are created in California. Billions of bees get slaughtered in the making.
Piers Morgan, pretending to be an animal rights activist while simultaneously paying people to stab cows in the throat. Piers, if a vegan wants to argue for the environment, it's perfectly possible for them to live without ingesting those two random foods. So your argument is utter and you're still paying for people to slash animals' necks, which is what the vegan argument is actually all about. Hello? Care to address the actual issue eventually, red herring boy? No, because you can't.
Why is a bee's life less important to you than a cow's?
Why is all animal life less important to you than your stomach? And can you think of anything more selfish than that? Because I can't. I really can't.
Yes, bees are just as important, and they're actually more important than humans.
Good point. The world as we know it could not continue without bees, but all of nature would flourish without humans. Especially meat eaters.
Do you eat almonds and avocado?
I do, but I like to eat locally. I actually have avocado trees on my property.
But you know that billions of bees get killed in California every season.
Are you deaf, Piers? She said she has her own trees.
Most of them get shipped around the world.
Again, Piers, she has her own trees. Now let's talk about your funding of animal murder that you keep sidestepping, Piers.
How do you justify the slaughter of billions of bees and the way that almonds and avocado, the two preferred foodstuffs for vegans...
Wrong again, Piers. It's actually Oreos and Nooch.
I think we hit a soft spot.
Yeah, his argument is pretty impotent, hey.
What?
She's calling you dickless, Piers.
If people know what go on to slaughterhouses and go on to meat, less people would eat it. And I think there will be a time, maybe we look back and realize that we can't even believe that we did eat meat at one point.
This should be interesting. Let's hear Piers' rebuttal to Pamela's fair comments about his animal abuse.
Let's bring in Dr. Hillary.
Oh, what a surprise. Totally avoided the topic. Guilty as charged then.
Dr. Hillary, Pamela, you know, she's been a strident advocate for this for a long time, and she's a walking advert for the healthy results of a vegan diet. You can't dispute that.
Why the sudden change in tune, Piers? Because you want to bone her? Bone. Maybe that's why carnivorous animals have a penis bone. All that meat consumption.
But is it actually that healthy to just have a vegan diet?
The correct answer here is if it's based on whole plant foods, supplemented with vitamin B12, and if not getting adequate sunlight, also vitamin D, then yes, according to the data, it's the healthiest diet in the world. If, however, you're just eating any old then obviously not.
Well, it can be, but not necessarily. I mean, you could eat chips all day and still have a vegan diet.
OK, not a bad start.
If you're educated and knowledgeable about veganism, of course you can have all the nutrients that you need, but it's very difficult.
Is it? I just described how to do it in one sentence. See, very poor nutritional education, so he just parrots out-of-date bullshit rhetoric.
As a vegan, to get all the nutrients that you need in sufficient quantity.
Oh yeah? Explain this then. You swore an oath to do no harm, and here you are on national television dissuading people from eating a whole foods, plant-based diet which would slash their disease risk significantly. Disgraceful. Dr. Jones, please get up to date with nutrition science. Nutritionfacts.org would be a great jumping off point for you.
Can I ask you specifically about what Pamela is saying about vegans making better lovers? Because her point is that the amount of cholesterol you eat if you're eating meat products, dairy products and egg products means that the blood flow around your body to significant parts of your body is restricted. And therefore, if you cut all of that cholesterol out from those sources, you, de facto, become someone with better blood flow and a better lover.
Well, it's stretching a point to a great degree.
What, when 1/3 of people die through the same mechanism?
There's no doubt that if you've got arteriosclerosis, if your arteries have become hardened by too much bad cholesterol, then you're more likely to suffer from heart disease and erectile dysfunction, hence the worse lover, I suppose. But you can have high cholesterol levels, even if you're a vegan, if you're eating the wrong foods.
Right.
Coconut oil, palm oil and cocoa butter. Hence why you should be on here promoting a whole foods plant-based diet, Dr. Jones.
Whilst it's likely that if you eat more vegetables and less fatty red meat, and the eggs thing is a complete myth. You can eat as many eggs as you like.
No, you can't. Hillary has fallen for the bullshit printed in Time magazine quite a while ago now, where researchers looked at the serum LDL of people eating either 1, 2 or 3 eggs per day. There was a small rise per extra egg eating, but it wasn't terribly significant. The reason for this is that all participants had high serum cholesterol in the first place. The rest of their diets were not even controlled, so they would have been eating loads of extra fat and cholesterol, as people are apt to do. We know that after a certain point, people can add in more fat and cholesterol, and it does make very little difference to total cholesterol. The way that this Egg Board funded study really pulled the wool over everyone's eyes was the fact that they had no control group. Put a group of whole foods vegans in there and you'd have seen that their serum LDL would have been through the floor to the point where you can't even form atherosclerosis. Next time, Dr. Jones, try to overlook your bias of wanting bird ovulations to be healthy and actually review the data that you're referring to. It's the least you could do. After all, people's lives are at stake.
It's a very healthy part of a diet.
Did you know that in the US, it's actually illegal to advertise that eggs are healthy or even contain healthy components due to the fact that they have the most cholesterol of any food? Why do you consider them so healthy, Dr. Jones? Okay, they've got a scarce few grams of protein, but everyone's getting more than enough protein. The only thing I can really think of are the antioxidants lutein and zeaxanthin. But goji berries have 100 times the amount compared to what's found in eggs. So nutritionally, eggs are
But as far as too much red meat, then there is the possibility that your arteries could suffer.
OK. All right. So it's not exclusive to vegans.
The jury's out.
Dr. Jones says that red meat can cause heart disease. Piers hears the jury is out. Denial much?
I did offer on Twitter to test this theory, Pamela, but I noticed you didn't respond.
Funny that, a fit, attractive, compassionate person not wanting to sleep with a Piers. Let's just say a Piers.
I've got a vegan smoothie here.
What, are you going to pretend to throw up again? Do your smoothies just contain dead bodies, ovulations and lactations?
So you know what, just as a little gesture to you, a little nod to the vegans.
Do you feel more amorous already?
It's not bad, but then I assume they're all...
already.
You know what, I'm actually feeling quite perky.
Oh, right,
Pamela.
let's take that one away. Thanks
shall I
very
fly to
much
California?
indeed.
No, you can't fly anywhere, Piers, because of people eating meat. Now click this.
We have come in the dead of night to free every life from its fucking cage. Let's tell the